Wow.
And we have Aseem Kaushik, who's the Managing Director for L'Oreal India. Please. He is Thank you. I'll now invite two people who make it all happen and who actually craft all these beautiful careers, and people who also lead beautiful properties like the L'Oreal SeedZ property. We have two very special people with us here today. May I please invite Michael? Michael Kinder leads talent acquisition for the L'Oreal Group. So SeedZ is his brainchild, his baby. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here today. And we have one very special. We have Diego here with us. Diego is the director for HR for the SAPMENA zone. Last but not the least, I'm going to invite someone who is also going to moderate this conversation. We have with us Rasika Malhotra. Rasika is the HR Director for L'Oreal India. Thank you to all of you for being here. And Rasika, may I invite you to take it from here.
Thank you, Shweta. This is on? Okay. First of all, a very, very warm welcome to all of you. This is a very, very momentous occasion where we're going to be launching SeedZ in India, which redefines our focus and commitment on young talent. And in order to demystify what it all means, we are here to chat about various details and answer questions around it. So I'm going to begin with Bismay. Bismay, you started your journey with L'Oreal in India. Today you lead SAPMENA zone, which is the fastest growing zone for the L'Oreal group. And from a young Delhi boy to creating a zone for L'Oreal, how has the journey been?
I'm still a young Delhi boy, firstly. No, I'm really, really happy to be here with all of you. It takes me back 29 years when I was pretty much where all of you are today. Trying to figure out what company to join, what is going to happen. I had no idea I would end up joining L'Oreal at one point in time, but here I am. And I passed out of SIBM. I understand the SIBM students are here as well. So we'll catch up later. We'll catch up later. So just very quickly, so I joined L'Oreal way back in 1994, just as the company was setting up the subsidiary here. We have different divisions. I don't know if you've been presented the company, the organization, etc. But I joined the mass market division, which is called Consumer Products Division first, in commercial roles. Since the company was starting up, we didn't have a proper management training program. We did not have something like SeedZ. So essentially, you were basically pushed in the pool, and then you learned to swim. But that was actually quite a good way, because that's what Aseem went through, that's what I went through. And so far, it's turned out quite all right. I joined first in Delhi in the commercial team, then moved to Calcutta. Then I was in the professional products division as it was being launched. That's where we sell products to hairdressing salons, and we train them, we educate them. So I did some commercial roles, then marketing roles in professional products division. Then I moved to the UK way back in 99. Yeah, 99. I was there for about a year and a half. I was doing marketing for hair color for L'Oreal Professional, which is our biggest professional brand. Then I came back to India, and I was running professional products division between 2000 and 2006. And that's when we basically, with the entire team, kind of built a hairdressing industry in India. A lot of you were not even around, I think. Or some of you were born. But if you go pre-2000, the kind of salons, the hairdressing salons, beauty salons that used to exist in India were very different from what you see today. And a large part of what you see today was actually built by L'Oreal. So that the team that built it, Asim was one of the key players in that, and you have a lot of other people around here who did the same as well. And then I had the intention of eventually running country businesses, so obviously I had to move to the biggest division of the group, which was at that time the biggest division, which is mass market. So I moved to headquarters, and I was working in the L'Oreal Paris marketing team. Then I came back to India to run consumer products division. I did that for about 5 years, between 2007 to 2011. Again, a very interesting time for us because we had a lot of years of very rapid growth at that point in time. And then we had a little bit of an accident, as it always happens when you drive very fast at one point in time. If you don't check your brakes, if you don't use your indicators, you end up having a bit of an accident, and that's what we had. But then once again, we had a great team, so we redid our supply chain, our route to market on the commercial side. We invested in IT, put an IT system, a distributor management system, and we were with the IT team today. Tejas is somewhere there, I saw him, yeah. So the team that put the IT system, at one point in time, we were discussing the latest version of the IT system. So we did all of that. Then 2012, I moved to Indonesia. I was country manager for Indonesia. I did that for about 4.5 years. Then moved to UK to run UK and Ireland for L'Oreal, which at that point in time, when I got there, it was the 4th largest subsidiary of the group. And then it became the 5th largest subsidiary of the group, not because of me. But because of something called Brexit, because UK chose to get out of Europe, and obviously the British pound collapsed, and the value of the pound went down by 20%, and automatically our turnover in euro terms went down by 20%. And Germany went slightly ahead of us, but one day they'll catch up. And then at the end of 2020, I moved to Singapore to set up SAPMENA, which is this new zone, which I will explain to you because it's a slightly unusual configuration. Most countries, most companies have APAC, they have Middle East and North Africa, or Middle East and Africa, Europe, etc. And for us, when we were thinking about reconfiguring our zones, the question was, what should be the basis? Because usually it's the geography. All the countries that are together, you put them together, it's easier to manage, but that's the thinking of a corporation that's thinking about itself and its own convenience. The real correct thing to do is to think about consumers and how consumers think, how they behave, what their beauty expectations are. And we realized that there was a very strong link between countries going all the way to Morocco, so North Africa, all the way to Southeast Asia. And that was largely linked to movement of trade routes. If you go back to medieval times, there were these caravans, trading caravans, that were moving from east to west and west to east. And as they were moving, they were carrying culture, religion, language, architecture, and beauty aspirations. Which is why now, if you see things like henna, argan oil, these are very, very valued ingredients everywhere in this region. And as we were creating new products, there were products we created in Thailand, which naturally came into India and then went into Middle East and Africa. There were products which were created in India on hair color. They went into Asia, went into Middle East. So we could see very clearly that there were common aspirations, common expectations. So it made sense to put all of this together. So we created what is now South Asia, Pacific, Middle East, and North Africa. So that's all the ASEAN countries. It's Pacific, which is Australia, New Zealand, all of South Asia, so India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. Middle East, so Saudi Arabia and all, and it goes all the way to Morocco. So we have a zone which goes from New Zealand to Morocco with 13 time zones. So we say that sun never sets in SAPMENA, which is factually correct, and it's a bit of a metaphor because the zone never actually sleeps because it's the most dynamic part of the world. This is where all the growth of the future is going to come from. It's the youngest part of the world. Average age is about 28. Growing populations, growing aspiration, growing opportunity, and we are really, really excited. So that, in a nutshell, is my journey and a bit of the logic behind SAPMENA.
Wow, that's one word that sums up your journey.
Thank you.
Bismay. And I'm sure it's going to be really inspiring to a lot of you because, this is tremendous, the amount of transformation that Bismay has gone through in his life as well as led for the organization. This journey started 29 years ago, and you've been with the organization through that. So please take us through the key moments of your journey, and I'm sure the students here and online would be really excited to hear about your vision and ambition for India.
Of course. Thank you, Rasika. Can you guys hear us properly? Are we audible? Yeah? So first of all, I want to begin by telling you guys that how happy I am, firstly, to receive you guys in our offices today in Bombay. And thank you for making it today. And it's a beautiful evening, nice weather, which is not going to last very long in Bombay. But you know, it's an amazing opportunity to interact with you guys. And I was really looking forward to this one. Yeah. And of course, like Bismay, my journey in L'Oreal began in India. And L'Oreal actually launched a 100% subsidiary in 1994. Yeah. And this subsidiary was, of course, started with the consumer products division, which we have, and with a brand called Ultradu. Yeah. And we had, I still remember very clearly, and Bismay would remember it, soup of nature and science, powered by science, right? And this is how this, and what it would do, depending on what concern they had. We started 28 years ago, which was all about consumer centricity and being very close to the consumer to give them what they were looking for in terms of solving their concern. So of course, it was the beginning story. And then L'Oreal, of course, is powered by innovation. And in India, we brought in a lot of innovations. We brought in, and we started with almost creating categories out of innovations, which we started. The first hair color in 1996 was launched by L'Oreal. It's a full-fledged cream hair color category, which today exists in India. And there was the first face wash, there was the first conditioner, there was the first anti-wrinkle cream, and there were many more firsts which happened in India and then actually traveled to the world across. And of course, a lot of firsts which happened in the world which traveled back to India. So this is where things are. The vision of L'Oreal in India, I think that's an important thing to also share with you guys. The vision of L'Oreal in India, and we've been in, for almost now a week and a half, both me and Bismay, traveling once again to all the small towns in India to rediscover our country. Yeah, to see where are we finally after 30 years and where has it evolved to in terms of market, in terms of consumers, in terms of retail landscape, etc. And we spent a couple of days in the market, in field, in Chandigarh, in Patiala, in small towns along the way, etc. And what we've discovered is today, of course, India, we all know we are 1.4 billion people, right? So there are a couple of facts you should know about India. The fact is that today, in terms of, we are the 5th largest economy in terms of GDP, right? But our GDP per capita, forget the PPP part of it, is close to about 2,500 odd, right? Whereas if you look at China, their PPP or per capita GDP is on a nominal basis is close to $12,500. So, but if you look at about 200 odd million consumers in India, the top some level as the Chinese consumers. So it's a very different part because India can be sometimes, you can get lost in data in India. But the idea is to look at the 200 million top consumers. The fact is that today, after 30 years, almost 700 million Indians are today digital. They are online. They're connected on internet, right? There are almost 180 million consumers who have shopped anything in the last 12 months online on an e-commerce platform and bought something by paying there, right? The fun fact is that there are only 47 million out of them who have actually bought a beauty product. This throws up a huge opportunity in front of us, A, to reach the consumer which we want to reach very quickly because they are all connected now. We know that there is a certain segment of consumers who are quite affluent. The rest of them are coming up because our overall economy now is growing and it will continue to grow in the times to come, right? So the ambition clearly, Rasika, if we have to say, and which Bismay has set for us, is what we did in 30 years in terms of turnover, which I will not disclose to you guys, but we have to do that in the next 3 years. So you can imagine the kind of expansion, the kind of plans, the kind of ambition, the kind of vision which we have, and the kind of adventure which we will go through in the next coming 3 years, of course, but then coming next 10 years or 15 years, because once we start, we are not going to stop. So that's the opportunity which we have in terms of what L'Oreal can become, which it is worldwide to become the #1 beauty company here in India as well. So that's where we are. And that is why we are super excited to host all of you guys. Because it is not going to be us, it would be the next generation who would have great leaders and managers. Because the term managers is a great term to use, right? But in L'Oreal, we also use interchangeably a much more powerful term, which is called leaders. And we are looking for that. And we are looking for people who are more entrepreneurial, who are really ready to take big bets, who are wanting to be part of the overall adventure. That's where we are. So very exciting times for India going forward, and no pressure, Bismay, on all of us and as a local team overall. No pressure.
Thank you, Aseem. And it's not the first time I'm hearing this, but every time I hear this vision, it gives me goosebumps. Because not just it's aspirational, I think we are all geared up to going after it. And that's what, kind of defines us being at L'Oreal, about going after ambition. And I think Bismay and Aseem have been, testimony to the fact that, the organization's reached where it's reached over the past few years, truly a big differentiator. The other piece about L'Oreal is, and before I go to Diego, is about the culture. Everyone defines, oh, this is how our culture is. The fact that both of them here have been here for such a long time, there are factors in this organization that are so special, that binds you to the organization. Every day, I'm sure both of you will agree, is a new day. And
almost as if I changed the company. Go to another country, go to another job, go to another brand, change the division. And believe me, the safety net that there is the company culture, the strong L'Oreal culture. But in terms of learning, in terms of challenges, it's very, very different. So as I always said, it's the best of both worlds. I can stay within the company that I know, where I have a strong network, but at the same time, I get such great learning experiences as if I changed, the company. And so, a little anecdote, and that's my last words on MT. Why SeedZ? You all know what SeedZ means, but there is a story behind, and I would like to share this story with you. Actually, in the beginning, what we called the push in the cold water with the sales experience and then going into the first jobs, there is a name in French for it at L'Oreal. It's called pépinière. What does pépinière mean? So it's an actual word. Doesn't mean anything outside of France. That's, by the way, also why we said we need to give the baby a name, because pépinière outside of France, nobody understands. But we wanted to create a link between this very strong concept of pépinière that is rooted very strongly in the history of L'Oreal and today the modern version of the MT program, SeedZ. Pépinière in French means actually a greenhouse or nursery. So basically it's the place where you put the grains into the soil, you water it, you create the conditions that a plant, a tree, a flower will blossom and will come out of the soil. And so this is the concept and the principle that we adopted for L'Oreal, for the way we grow people with L'Oreal. We create the conditions, we nurture you, we educate you, and basically the name SeedZ comes from that. So we wanted to keep the idea, to keep the principle of the pépinière, and to bring it to the 21st century. And that's why I'm extremely happy to be with you today and to launch together with this prestigious panel, L'Oreal SeedZ for India. And you're worldwide the first country to launch it officially. So I'm really happy to be part of you and a part of this event today. Long.
Thank you, Mike.
I just want to add one thing to that. we love people as well. We may not be in HR, but we love people as well.
Thank you, Michael. And successfully transitioning, and thank you for coming to HR. But I think it's been an amazing journey, and I'm sure, like you said, you've probably loved every minute of it. I'm truly honored to be on this, moderating this panel. With the experiences that you've all had, I'm sure, a lot of you will take away something home that you'll remember by. We've loved having you here, but I think Shweta has something planned for us next. And
Maybe we'll open up for
we'll
some
open up for
questions.
Q&A.
Yeah, so anyone for any questions for the panel?
Patrick has a question. You still have questions after so many years?
Patrick.
Okay. Would have been surprised.
So, a very good evening to everyone. My name is Ayush Patel. I come from SCM So, my question was for Michael. Michael, you said you have been here for a week. You have worked at L'Oreal for the past 2 decades. You've been through Germany, Brussels, Netherlands, France, and right now you're launching L'Oreal SeedZ, the management trainee program. So, do you see a clear strength that Indian talent brings to a global MNC like L'Oreal as such?
Apparently, you had a very close look at my LinkedIn profile. No, actually, 1 week is very short, but what I could see already, all the interactions that I had with our MTs internally, with our boosters, the beneficiaries from our Boost and L'Oreal for Youth program, it's quite amazing to see that, on the one hand, there are capabilities and competencies like your analytical skills, tech, engineering skills, data, and very digital. You guys have a highly digital savvy. So this is something that is very important to bring to the table today. And at the same time, I can see when it comes to soft skills, a high level of a capacity of adaptation, to new environments, a flexibility, also a creativity. So basically this very interesting combination of the left and right side of the brain, which resonates extremely well in the L'Oreal culture, because I don't know if you heard about the poet and peasant concept. At L'Oreal, in order to be successful, you need to be as hands-on and operational, and to have this doer mentality as a peasant, but at the same time, and it's the same person, it's not two different people, it's the same person. You need to be strategic, you need to be analytical, you need to have a vision. So to be a poet up there in the clouds, and to jump, on a daily, even hourly basis, basically, we do these jumps going from the clouds to the ground. And I see, well, what I've observed in the past couple of days is that in terms of fit with this concept and with the L'Oreal culture, you're particularly well prepared here in India. So we need you to find, Asim's successor, Bismay's successor. Already we have today 2 members of the EXCO from India, so Bismay and Asmita Dubey. And I think there is space for more.
Okay. Okay, so next one.
Hello, I am Enna from JBIMS. So my question was from Bismay. I wanted to understand what role does India play in the overall Sapina strategy?
Okay. But this is going to be a long one. But, okay, I'm going to try. Thank you very much for the question. It's an important one. So look, SAPMENA, I spoke very briefly. It's 13 time zones. But essentially, we have, within SAPMENA, 4 billion people. It's a part of the world where we have, by geography, about 50 countries, but we sell our products in 35. We have 12 subsidiaries. And the country with the biggest potential is India. And there are 3 things on which we want to build SAPMENA, because SAPMENA is going to be the biggest growth driver for L'Oreal for the coming 10 years. Over half of the new consumers we acquire within L'Oreal Group are going to come from SAPMENA for the coming decade and beyond. And within that, there are three key things that we are building our business on. The first one is consumer love, which is creating exciting products, driving innovation, giving the best experience to our consumers, recruiting the largest number of consumers. So the first one is all about creating great brands, great experience, and acquiring the largest number of consumers. It goes without saying that the country that has the highest population and the biggest headroom for growth will bring the largest number of consumers and potentially the largest incremental turnover as well. And I'll come to where India stands, in my opinion, today. So that's the first place. The second place is all about people power. It's all about talents. It's all about our own people, their spirit, their entrepreneurial energy, their passion. And we have a large number of Indian expats working within L'Oreal, well-educated people, but very importantly, and I'm just building on what Michael said, it's rare to find people with strong analytical skills on one side, a very high ability to manage ambiguity, because, and I talk to my friends because I'm living in Singapore, and as you can imagine, as a Delhi boy or a true Indian, it's exactly opposite of my grain. Because I know in the morning when I leave home, I will be at the office in 18 minutes. On a bad day when it's raining and the traffic is really bad, it becomes 19 to 20 minutes. That's it. On a really good day when there's no traffic, nothing, it's 17 minutes. And that's how my entire life is in Singapore. Everybody's life is like that. So you know exactly how everything is going. And somebody once asked me, are you enjoying Singapore? I said, yeah, I love the place, but it's a little bit boring. And I love the people, I love the place, but I find it a bit boring. And they said, why? And I explained, look, when I go from home to Singapore, home to office in Singapore, I know in 18 minutes I'm going to be there. In Bombay, when I left home, I didn't even know if I would be able to cross. So it's a completely different environment, and this ability on one side to manage this and don't pick up instinctively is an incredible capacity to embrace diversity. Because if you look at India, India is a continent. If you look at religions, you look at languages, you look at backgrounds, you look at tastes, food, etc. We are a continent, and our ability as we are growing up to accept people from everywhere, to accept diversity is incredible. There are very, very few cultures that have that kind of homogeneity and that ability, and there's the reason why you have such a large number of Indian CEOs of big global corporations. If you look at the tech world, if you put these three qualities together, it's tough to find another nationality which can do these. With no disrespect to any other nationalities, I love Germans, I love Mexicans, but it is indeed a huge strength. So India will be a huge talent pool for us. And there's a reason why the worldwide launch of SeedZ is taking place in India. There's a reason why the global program director is here for the launch of SeedZ. There's a reason why all of us are here with all of you, because we think that this country will provide a large number of talents for the future, for future growth, first of India, then of the region, and then of the world for L'Oreal. The third pillar for our growth is responsibility. And responsibility is about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing for the planet, doing the right thing for the communities that we operate in. And within SAPMENA, if we see the impact of climate change, SAPMENA as a region will have the highest impact of climate change. In fact, there are studies, different studies that have been done. And in the event nothing is done, the impact on the economies of SAPMENA countries will be a minus 37% compared to what we could have been. By 2050, if all the economies put together were to get to 100, if nothing is done, climate change will bring that 100 down to 63, which is huge. If you see rising ocean levels, the impact it will have, there are countries in SAPMENA which will disappear. Maldives will not exist if ocean levels rise. If you see countries like Philippines, Indonesia, which are full of islands and a large number of people living in coastal areas, the impact is huge when it comes to climate change. So there's something that needs to be done. And it's the same in India. Look at the water-stressed regions of India. There is a huge impact of climate change in India as well. And the other one is all about communities, doing the right thing for people, helping in social mobility, bringing people out of poverty, providing employment opportunity. We are changing lives in full families. And there again, India plays a very important role. Employment opportunities, we have a program called Beauty for a Better Life. So in all three, India plays an extremely important role. And when we add up the numbers, the largest number is going to come from India. So that's that. But equally, I mean, as you can imagine, I have a slight affinity for India, affinity and affection for India. So nothing would give me more pleasure than to see India doubling its turnover in 3 years, and then doubling again in 3 years, and then doubling again in 3 years, and then getting to our rightful size. Thank you.
So we've also sourced some questions from the students joining in online. So I'm going to pick out two very fun questions that have come in. One is for Diego. Diego.
Say, if what you heard, look at the passion that Bismay, of course being Indian and with his career and the passion he puts into it, resonates with you, if what you heard in terms of what we intend to do as a group and our values, our commitment, our sense of purpose, employability, growth, careers, talent, India for India, India for the world, if that resonates with you and you feel that you are connected, this is a place for you. Now, of course, we will ask you and we will go to your campus and be there with you so you can apply and you can share your interest in joining L'Oreal. If you get the opportunity, once you are with us, be bold, be curious, never stop learning, learn, learn, and learn. Make sure you challenge your leaders and your managers on what you want to do, how you grow your career, how you are a better professional. You will have rotations, you will have the opportunity to go from marketing to sales. We have opportunities in data, analytics, of course in HR, also in finance, in different areas of the businesses which you can contribute. So whatever is your interest and your major, by the way, examples like Michael was saying too, you can switch careers at any given point in time. So if this resonates with you and you think you have a shot at it, please let us know. And as I said a little bit earlier, see you in campus. And thanks for the question and thanks for having us.
I'm going to take up one more, and this is for you, Asim. Asim, when you were a young pépinière, what was working at L'Oreal like? Disclaimer.
I can share with you guys. Well, all I can tell you is, because we are a company which is based on innovations, launching new products, new categories, etc. So every time you launch an innovation, stories around that. So I still remember a long time ago, we had launched the first face wash, the soap-free face wash in India. And I was in sales, and we went in and we launched massively with a very big bang, face wash everywhere. The range was called Synergy that time, right? And then we realized that after a week's time, the distributor came back to say that there were no payments coming back from any of the shopkeepers, and they have complaints. So we were very shocked to say, we have complaints on our products, not possible. So I went back to the market, to the guys who we had sold our products. The big problem was, if you had sold 24 face washes to somebody, the guy was wanting that because it said soap-free face wash. And they said, you know, you guys have not still given me my free soap, so I've kind of held back your payment. So then we had to go back again to explain to them that it is not a free soap which is going to come along with that. This face wash is the new kind of soap in a liquid which doesn't have soap or the level of astringents or surfactant which is there in a normal soap. So things like that, always launching innovations, but also educating the consumer and the retailers, and then to make something very big out of it in terms of business, has been a journey which is, of course, full of a lot of anecdotes like that. So more.
In the interest of time, I'm actually not going to open up more questions, but everyone here, please use this opportunity to network with all the leaders who are here. Thank you again, all of you, for being on the panel and for launching SeedZ for us. And we'll open the floor now for networking. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.